around for a little while. Dan Signorini, though, who had a hand in designing the deck, took it to a win just a couple weeks ago in DC. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks from tonight. 2 weeks ago.
One interesting thing to note about Chris's Team America deck is that it is running 2 Jaces in the main deck.
That's something a little
whereas
different.
Some of the other ones are running it in the board.
Right. So
and a full set of him to Turoks, as Drew's was only running 3.
I see. So a little more disruption. So that's what Chris is playing. And now AJ is playing a list that he's kind of been working on tuning. He's been playing like a show and tell version of it before. He's playing. It was called No Show, I believe, was the name given to it. Natural Order Show and Tell. But he's cut the show and tell portion of the list, and instead is going with a more of just a focused natural order package in his Bant deck. So there's AJ. It looks like he's
curious to see what
taking
card,
a mulligan.
I'm curious to see what cards he cut here, because he, unlike some of the other lists, he's running 3 days. He's running 3 Stifle as opposed to 4 Stifles. He's running the 2 Jaces. He's running the full set of him to Turok, and he's. There was something else I noticed about it that was different. Oh, he's running 23 lands, whereas some people run 21, some people running 20. There was a deck that there was a version of the deck Posky was telling me about, like I was telling you, that was running 19 lands and 2 Sensei stops. So a bunch of tiny changes to the deck. I think that the 4 him to Turok is, absolutely.
Well, you love it. Right?
I love it.
I love it too.
Love it.
I love it. Love it. I mean, the old adage, him, I win.
Yeah, I almost always want to.
Every time you see that, every time we see double him, it's just almost like you just gotta say, does he win? Right? We did see Drew do the him, and I believe that was the game he won.
It's important to note here that AJ seems to be sick.
Yeah, which seems we don't mean like figuratively. We mean he's actually not feeling well, and still here he is in top 8.
And he starts
actually
off
top
with,
4.
Yeah, absolutely. He starts off with a Savannah into a Noble Hierarch, and Chris VanMeter is going to Polluted Delta.
Polluted Delta into probably an Underground Sea.
Seems likely.
And we're correct.
Look at that, Twitter. We got something right.
Isn't that their Underground River he just fetched?
I think that's Badlands.
Oh, must be.
That's some bad land.
No, that was a green-white duel, as Kibler pointed out. That was the bad land.
That's right. The Badlands was a Mitch Hedberg reference, actually.
Oh, sorry about that. So, VanMeter opens on a Ponder off of that Underground Sea. Now, we know that it's Savannah, but Kibler jokingly said that the bad land was the green-white land. Not Badlands, but that the green-white land was a bad land. That was when we were in DC. So, AJ has a Windswept Heath and a Goyf off of his Noble Hierarch,
which is currently a 2/3. Will be a 3/4 when it attacks due to the Exalted trigger, though.
Yeah, unless they want to add more cards to the graveyard.
Which, if we've seen Team America so far this weekend, it's probably going to add some cards to the graveyard.
Maybe not as many as the Intuition out of the Painter's Servant decks that just throw artifact creatures into the graveyard, totally pumping opposing Goyfs.
Absolutely.
But Chris has a Wasteland on turn 2. Yeah, we got to stop being sarcastic about the dual lands because people are not getting our sarcasm.
People just don't get sarcasm. I don't care if people get my sarcasm or not.
It's all good. So he wastes AJ's Savannah. And
Scrubland.
Yeah, and there's a second Windswept Heath for AJ, and the Goyf comes in for, what is that, 2 or 3?
It's a 3/4 with the Exalted trigger.
That's right. Yeah, so it's a 2/3 that's getting the Exalted trigger.
Exactly. Yeah, I think one thing that's interesting is that he's got Wastelands. Now AJ is probably wisely. I'm pretty sure I see a Dryad Arbor in his hand. Probably wisely holding that back, because if he plays that down, he can get that wasteland, or actually, no. Why would he wisely hold that back?
Right,
Sorry,
so
I'm
here
getting
comes
back. I'm getting reversed here.
Here comes Tarmogoyf again for another 3. And there's the Dryad Arbor.
Actually, he's better to run that out.
He's daring Chris to wasteland it,
Right.
because Chris looks like to be a little bit stalled on mana. I mean, all he's done is ponder and wasteland.
Plus, that'll pump his Goyf.
Right, that's true. It'll be a creature in the graveyard to make the Goyf just a bit bigger.
This one's Bailey's. This one's Bailey's, but a bit bigger. And we've got a ponder.
Yeah, Chris digging through his deck, trying to sculpt a better hand, I think. I mean, we didn't get a look at his hand, but it just seems like he's not doing very much, and he's under some pressure from that Tarmogoyf. There's a Verdant Catacombs for Chris.
Finally, he gets to grab his land.
And he cracks it to probably get an Underground Sea here. Kind of depends on what's in his hand, but Underground Sea would be a...
I think he would need Bayou here because he's no green mana.
Right. You're right, there it is, Bayou. I just wasn't sure what he had there available. If he
Probably was to cast his own Goyf.
Right, well, that's what I wasn't sure if he had in his hand. And when he quickly went through his hand, I didn't see a green card.
Fair enough.
That's why I was thinking maybe the double Underground Sea was the call, but again, I didn't. It was such a quick flash, and his hand's kind of under his life total over there. So
well, even if he doesn't have it, he needs it in case
he's going to need the green mana
he's
eventually.
land light as it is,
Right.
but he
does have his own Goyf.
Now, obviously, AJ's Goyf trumps Chris's Goyf.
With that Exalted trigger, yeah. It's pretty important, that Hierarch right now.
Right, well, the double black is a given with, somebody pointed out that it needs double black more. But that's a given with Bayou or Underground Sea.
Exactly.
But the Bayou also gives him the single green he needs for Goyf.
Yep. So AJ able to accelerate with the Noble Hierarch, and also have a bigger Goyf, win the Goyf battles. That card was pretty good when it was in Standard too. Noble Hierarch. Remember that all the way back in the summer.
Which card is good?
Noble Hierarch was good, and when it was in Standard too.
It's a pretty good card.
Pretty good in Extended as well. So AJ,
Not quite as popular in
he
Legacy.
should feel pretty safe in the fact that his Goyf is bigger.
He's got Chris has Tombstalker though, and it looks like he's getting close to the 6 he needs to delve it in.
Yeah. And there's a Brainstorm off of the Hierarch.
No, it is starting to get a little bit quieter here, so we might need to stop talking about what's in players' hands.
Right. Good call.
Good point on Twitter. Go for the Threat also wins the Goyf battle.
You saying Goyf dies to Doomblade? Is that what this is? It's not a good card. Dies to Doomblade.
That's right. I will trade you a set of Doomblades for a Tarmogoyf. And you can kill them as many times as you want.
Yeah. It's a good trade. People should take them.
You're going to take it?
No, I'm good though. No, I'm good right now.
Fine.
I have enough Doomblades. Also, I have enough Go for the Throats.
And you have enough Goyfs too. Must
That's
be
true.
nice.
Tis. So AJ, yeah, like Joe said, we don't want to really talk about what is being brainstormed at this point because it's getting a little bit quieter. And
it's still a little.
We're reasonable, but I think it's one of those things we do need to watch what we say so that we can maintain a reasonable volume. We just don't want to say anything about any hidden information.
Right. If we break the habit now, when it actually gets silent in here, we won't screw anything up for the players.
Right. We certainly don't want to affect the match at all.
So just pretend you're standing over the table and you can't see what's in their hands.
Fair enough.
Or if you can see it, shout it out.
Yeah, exactly. Don't
shout
even shout it
home.
out in your own living room. Yeah, go ahead.
Shout it out at
Don't
home.
wake up the neighbors.
Hope we didn't wake the neighbors up.
That was the reference there.
It's an old reference that.
Was it the Jonathan? I forgot the guy's
Jonathan
name.
Ross.
Yeah.
So he comes in with the goif here.
With the bigger goif, and still got those windswept heaths, kind of just waiting there to get whatever he decides he needs. And looks like he may be actually making that decision now, at least for one of them. Certainly considering it.
Maybe he doesn't want Chris to know what he needs until he needs it. You know what I mean? Until he absolutely needs it. Hides information. It seems like a good idea. Yeah, somebody said I should make a Doomblade guy plug from Twitter.
And I just responded to it. No plug for him because he's been inactive for months.
He has, hasn't he?
Yeah, but you had to say something.
Sorry. That's because Go for the Throat made him a sad panda.
Fair enough.
There's another goif on AJ's side.
Yeah, those. Although he can't swing with both goifs and expect to win the goif
No, but he
battle
can swing with one and hold the other one back to.
Absolutely, no.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's got a nice setup there. Just saying. I'm pretty much just saying that that's what he should be doing. Is
right.
He wants to win the goif battle, swing with one for the exalted trigger and have one chilling out. But I can win the goif war with swords to plowshares just as well.
That needs to resolve first, but
that's true.
Okay.
He's winning the goif battle anyway, right now with two goifs and an exalted trigger, and now he's just
that resolves.
So he says, "Here, have some life. Have 5 life."
There seems to be very little way for him to get out of this predicament.
He
right
needs
now.
engineered explosives.
Right.
As being pointed out a little bit on Twitter. Gabe Lanciano always there to point out some interesting strategy.
Except for when he wasn't there.
Except for when he wasn't, right. Never mind, he needs to land more, he says. Well, we know that. There's a Tombstalker, so that'll be relevant. Helps helps partly shrink those goifs, possibly. I can't see exactly what's in AJ's graveyard. I don't know how big of an effect that Tombstalker's delve had on AJ's Tarmogoyfs, but
he's got a pretty heavy glare there. Can we get a confirmation on the Tarmogoyf's power toughness right now?
Rashad to the walkie-talkie. And he taps 4, which is just looks like maybe a green. I'll stop. It's a 2/3 goif. The goifs are 2/3.
Okay. And shrunk considerably.
Yeah. Tombstalker over there, looking a bit threatening. Looks like AJ's trying to
figure out
make up his mind, about what exactly he wants to do here. As much as I wanted to say what was in his hand, I stopped myself.
I had to stop myself too.
Yeah. There's a Fauna Shaman from AJ.
Fauna Shaman's a really interesting card in AJ's deck because, I mean, it's only one of itself, but it can search up a ton of one-ofs in his deck.
Right on.
And especially in his sideboard too.
Chris in a pretty bad position at this point, but that the Tombstalker's at least holding off those goifs for the moment. Providing him a little security. So, hard to say what you do here. Like, you're on the back foot. You want something like Engineered Explosives to destroy those Goyfs and the Fauna Shaman. Seems like a decent plan. You know, won't get rid of the Dryad Arbor or the Noble Hierarch, but you're at 11 life at the moment. Seems like that would, I mean, that would be the play if he has access to Engineered Explosives at the moment. I feel like that would be a great call. Now we don't know what AJ has, if he's got counter magic to deal with that. That's right, he can't actually wipe everything this turn. Because he needs another land to be able to sacrifice it, but he can at least, well, yeah, I don't know. Really doesn't look good for him. I mean, the Tombstalker can prevent something, so there's a Sylvan Library. Gonna help him hopefully draw into some cards. Hopefully draw into some lands, that is.
Yeah.
It's definitely gonna help him draw some cards.
Right.
That's how it works.
He really needs the land.
Those Goyfs aren't so big. So, like, here's the thing. Maybe I wonder if playing the explosives would still have been a better idea just to set it up for next turn. You know what I mean? Like, then again, next turn, if he draws into a land, he can play and bust the explosives in the same turn. So.
Right. Has or not? Chris.
What?
Does he have it? Okay, here comes Natural Order.
Alright, this could be big right here. Or at least what HA gets could be big.
Absolutely, it could be very big.
It's likely to be pretty big. I mean, he quite a lot bigger than the Dryad Arbor that he just sacrificed.
True.
I would expect him to get something like Progenitus. And we'll see if I was correct. I am. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
But oversized cards aren't legal. That's right. That is not any bigger than the rest of the cards. Just
very true.
Just to clarify that. But its power and toughness are quite the sizable numbers there. And it does have protection from everything.
That's everything.
Now, I don't know that Chris really can do anything at this point. He was already in a bad position, and that bad position got exponentially worse with that Progenitus hitting play.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, he's going to scoop him up.
He agrees, I think,
yeah.
And says, let's try a game two, and maybe he can provide a little more disruption
Absolutely.
to AJ's plan. So anybody just joining us, I'm Joey Pasco here with Big Head Joe. We're in the booth for SCG Live covering the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Memphis, Tennessee. We're here in the semifinals of the Legacy portion. Having an awesome day watching Legacy Magic and watching Chris VanMeter play Team America against AJ Sacher playing Natural Order Bant.
Team America has performed really well today.
Absolutely. So speaking of which, we have some premium to give away, and the question we're gonna have is, who piloted Team America to its most recent Legacy finish just a couple weeks ago, just within the last few weeks?
To the Legacy win.
Right, to the Legacy win in the StarCityGames.com Open Series. So I will tweet that, and the hashtag for that is SCG Premium. Tweet the answer at SCG Live with the hashtag SCG Premium, and you can potentially win up to 6 months, or not up to 6 months. You can potentially win 6 months of free premium. We will be giving away 12 months of premium in the finals, which are coming up pretty soon. So.
Any reports from the other match? We're going to find out the status of the other semifinal match between Alex Bertoncini and Lucas Parson. AJ has been an advocate of the natural order for a while. So the game 3 is going on right now between Alex and Lucas.
Lucas playing an affinity list against Alex's trademark merfolk list. They're the blue Jund, as far as he's concerned. I just made that up. I'm not sure if that's something he would actually say, but he did quite like the Jund deck last season. Did very well with it. That was where I feel, that was where I first heard of Alex Bertoncini, was from his finishes in the Star City Open Series with Jund. And obviously Jund rotates out. He switches over to a different red-green aggro build, adding some blue instead of black, and goes with the rug plan and loves that deck. And but for Legacy, his old standby is Merfolk, and that's a deck that doesn't. It's unlikely to rotate from Legacy anytime soon, considering that Legacy doesn't rotate.
Correct.
Thank you for that confirmation.
Thank you for thanking me for my confirmation.
Absolutely, anytime, buddy. So, yeah, AJ now, focusing on this match. AJ has been working on natural order combo decks for quite a while. He's been tuning this a little bit here and there. He was playing a show and tell version last few events, and here he is. He's cut the show and tells, made quite a few changes, and right now he's up a game in the semifinals, possibly heading to the finals if he can win one more game against Chris VanMeter.
We're getting the winner of the draft open here, getting his picture taken. I want it.
I don't want this picture.
Don't look confusing. Don't look confused.
Ricky Hayashi taking pictures. That's terrible. Trying to take the trophy shot here.
Don't do it. It's fine, I'm blinking, right? That's it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Alright, so guys, AJ has presented his deck, and Chris has as well. They're drawing their 7. They're going to take a look and see if it's, see if their openers are worth keeping. Come on, guys, no mulligans. Let's both start this off with some good hands. We want to see some good magic.
Somebody asked on Twitter why the Star City Opens don't feature block constructed tournaments.
Because there's only 2 days every weekend.
That's
There's only
true.
2 days on the weekend, right?
There's
We have
also only,
standard, we have
there's only,
legacy.
One, what is block constructed a PTQ format right now?
No, I mean right now it's extended.
I mean,
Is it
at
ever?
all?
I think occasionally it is. So both guys keep, which is great. Chris leads off with a ponder, sculpting his hand, possibly trying to get a little more disruption this time for AJ. The last game he just really didn't have much to stop AJ from beating down with Tarmogoyfs
Absolutely.
and eventually Progenitus. So AJ starts right off with a Green Sun Zenith for 0. Any guesses as to which Dryad Arbor he's getting here? There's a Dryad Arbor off of the Green Sun Zenith. It's one of the more... I mean, Green Sun Zenith is showing itself to be quite a versatile card in Legacy.
Okay, and Chris VanMeter plays a Tarmogoyf and passes back to AJ.
Yeah, I mean, Zenith in AJ's deck in particular, it's strong because just right there, that play, being able to accelerate with it.
Right.
You know, he just broke serve. He's now on the play essentially.
Yeah.
You know, gets an extra land drop and also has a target for his natural order.
Absolutely.
As we saw, that's exactly what happened last game. Was he used natural order to sacrifice Dryad Arbor to search for Progenitus, and you know, AJ fixing to do something very similar right now. Maybe not this turn, obviously, but coming up pretty soon. He's just building that scenario. He's attempting to. But he has to worry a little bit about that Tarmogoyf. Now, that Tarmogoyf's not too big. It's a 2/3 at the moment, it looks like. Land and sorcery in the graveyard.
Yeah.
So, what's that? Oh, Bertoncini won. So Bertoncini taking the Merfolk deck to the finals.
Alex Bertoncini is going to the
Going to
finals.
the finals of Legacy. So we're going to find out who his opponent is out of these two guys. So now there is an instant in the graveyard, so that Goyf got a little bit bigger thanks to AJ's Brainstorm.
And down comes a Noble Hierarch.
Yeah, and beautiful unhinged island.
Sure it is.
As much as I love that one, I'm really getting to be partial to the unglued islands.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually going to grab some when I get home. I'm going to see if I can get a couple of those for my Legacy deck.
They appear pretty old school.
Yeah.
They feel very old school.
Yeah, I like it. I don't think I cared for them before, but I don't know. I guess seeing them played so much, like Jerry T's rocking those islands, and
Yeah.
not just Jerry T, but kind of making me like those.
I think one of my favorite lands ever is our foil unhinged swamps.
Yeah, they look pretty
amazing.
nice.
I
Yeah.
want to get those for my mono black EDH deck. It's going to take a while.
So it looks like at the end of AJ's turn, I believe Chris has played the Brainstorm.
Somebody says it's Jerry's fault.
Yeah, it's Bryce. Bryce
Yeah.
making fun of me, saying it's Jerry's fault that I want to play those islands, and I beat him to that explanation. But I don't think it's just because of Jerry, because I've been seeing them for weeks now. Anyway, there goes Chris. Oh, so he brainstormed on his own turn. Sorry, I thought that was the end of AJ's turn, but actually it makes no sense because the lands were tapped for the Tarmogoyf at the end of AJ's turn. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Alex Bertoncini also reaches level 6 with his.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I thought I heard the Final Fantasy music. He levels up. So in with the Tarmogoyf for Chris, and knocks AJ from 19 to 16.
Yep. All right. Yeah, he did board in the Cold-Eyed Selkie. I can see it there. I can say that because people are being really loud. So I can definitely tell you that. Seems like it might just, or I mean, I guess he could take out the Goyf, but he could also drop it down. So he's gonna swords the Goyf. We're gonna see if that resolves,
Yeah.
obviously. Spell Pierce is coming down.
So Spell Pierce for the Swords to Plowshares, and AJ
Pays for
looks
it.
like he's going to pay. At least kind of considering it. Started to, he's got some lands sideways there, but hasn't taken his hand off those lands. Now he says, okay, yes, I will pay. It's kind of like in chess, like still have my finger on the piece.
Yeah, exactly.
So he pays, and the Goyf hits the yard. Actually, it doesn't hit the yard. Just completely skips the yard and does not pass go, does not collect $200.
Sure does.
Goes directly to jail. Removed from the game, actually.
Straight to exile.
Absolutely. Decided it wanted to be doing some farming duties instead of battling with swords. So AJ fetches up a tropical island.
And he passes with the island and the tropical island up.
Yeah. And so there's a ponder for VanMeter, who again seems a little land light, and there's a, you know, AJ realizing this spell pierces the ponder.
And it's odd too because I pointed out that he is running 23 lands in
Which
this
is a little
list,
more than-
which is higher than most of the lists that we've seen.
We've seen more ponders from Chris than we've seen lands. I mean, he just, you know, the first ponder was spell pierced, and now he went with a second ponder, which, you know, he just really just needs to dig, and now he's shuffling.
Stops here.
Clearly is not getting what he needs at the top. And there's a land. It's got a bayou. Now AJ has an opportunity to maybe get some more pressure down, or potentially hit his natural order combo.
Certainly could. Pretty impressive to see AJ battle through his illness like he is right now.
Right. Well, you know, as we were saying earlier, Kibler was sick with strep throat when he made the top 8 of GP Denver.
That's right.
And Edgar Flores top 8's 2 consecutive tournaments this weekend on literally like probably 6 hours sleep in 4 days.
Yeah.
So, you know, apparently this is what it takes to be a Magic player. This is the this is the difference. Now, obviously, I'm kidding, but it just really is pretty crazy that these guys perform well when they're kind of under some sort of duress.
Yeah, we don't want to turn our, no pun intended, every pun intended.
So
we don't
there's
want
3
our
mana
viewers to turn
for
into hypochondriacs.
Cold Eye Selkie. I keep looking at that because the art is so dark on Cold Eye Selkie.
Well, I think it's a foil.
So that's a
too.
foil. It's
Yeah.
making make it
even
more
darker.
difficult. But even earlier when it was played again, Nick Spagnuolo played it. I was trying to figure out what it was.
Like from here, it almost just looks like a little person on a
It
black
kind of looks
background.
like Oracle of Moldiah, to be honest. To me, that's what I thought it was, but he tapped 3 for it. So
Right.
I knew it wasn't, and I also didn't think it was in the list.
Yeah, obviously, we have the list.
Yeah.
It's obviously not playing
And
one.
then I realized it was Cold Eye Selkie. So, now we saw how Selkie combined with Hierarch just buried Ben Weinberg in card advantage
Sure did.
when Spagnuolo had that in play. So AJ is set up to do similar damage here. Cold Eye Selkie has Island Walk and draws cards for each damage it deals. So it's only a 1/1, but when it swings with that Hierarch in play, gets that trigger, that Exalted trigger. So connecting with Chris VanMeter's life total will also draw AJ 2 cards.
That's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge when you're playing against a deck that's trying to play him to Turox on you.
Yeah. Basically, you just unhim every turn.
Yeah.
And Chris hasn't even himmed yet.
And
Speak of the devil, there's him to Turok. So AJ going with the brainstorm to protect some of his hand.
Or just to
Deciding-
see what he's got.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he decides what he doesn't mind losing and what he wants to keep. He sets it up and says, here, yeah, you hit randomly the last 2 cards in my hand. Tropical Island and something else. I
think it was just 2 lands.
I think it was 2 lands as well.
And now I think he has the natural order.
I think he does too. So he's going to unhim here, right? Unhim.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he top decks one of the cards he put back and gets another 2 here. There's 1, there's 2, and there is the card we did think we saw, and there it is. So here comes some action. Chris, I think he may suspect the situation.
Seems like a pretty smart guy. Probably knows what's going on here.
Yep. So there's 4 mana in AJ's pool, right?
Somebody was saying that Selkie looks like Consume Spirit.
Yeah, well, it's definitely not Consume Spirit.
Looks like it, of course.
Fair enough. Yeah, I like the Elspeth. Elspeth, not Elspeth Knight Errant. Jump a Selkie, and that's quite a lot. Quite a lot of cards there.
Absolutely.
It's at least 4, unless you have an Exalted trigger. So he,
Okay.
AJ untaps and just passes the turn.
All right.
Just figured he was content to unhim himself there.
So it seems like, okay, so Chris drops a Tarmogoyf, and the Tarmogoyf can't block the Cold-Eyed Selkie, but it can crack back, which could put some pressure on AJ to...
Is that match?
No. We're gonna get Alex in the booth real quick. Tarmogoyf is currently at 3-4, and Tombstalker comes down as well. Possibly keeping. We got our newest level 6
Feels good.
Star City Games Players Club.
You know, I like Jerry Thompson and all, but he did not need to go surpass me yesterday without a fight, you know?
There you go.
So this is game 2 here. AJ is up a game?
Yeah.
Is that Cold Eye Selkie?
Yes, it is. AJ seems to be in a pretty good position here. Let's try not to comment on what's in their hands, just because it's pretty quiet in the room.
Okay.
But let's just say that
Sure.
if you take a look, you will see that there's a
Cold Eye Selkie, Noble Hierarchy.
he's in a pretty good position.
Let's go Dryad Harbor. Fittek's pretty powerful that AJ's playing because any of its fetch lands can turn into chump blockers.
Yeah,
Any of them.
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So AJ has not lost he lost 1 match on the day. He lost to Edgar.
That's right. Gavin just posted that Selkie plus Sword of, I'm guessing it's Feast and
Feast
Famine.
and Famine.
Yeah, it's pretty gross too. Sounds like it. Wow. And it's a kill with waves of aggression.
Mm-hmm. That's fun. Just take an extra turn. Very nice. Yeah, very quiet in here. There are very few people left. But
I guess to draw 2.
more Magic to be played.
Yeah, AJ, despite Chris's Tombstalker and Goyf, AJ seems to be in a really good position here.
That's true, yeah. He's gonna cast Natural Order right now.
Seems that way.
Oh boy. And the rich get richer.
Of course, he tapped those 4 mana last turn too, and then untapped them and passed. So who knows?
AJ's gonna go for it because he's a smart player and he sees that he's gonna do it. Because Chris has Force of Will and Consuming Vapors. So there's a Progenitus. And that is the face of a man who is about to get attacked by Progenitus. Not now, but soon.
For sure, very soon.
Very soon.
Unless he does something immediately to deal with it,
Yeah.
of course.
And it's interesting because he has a Consuming Vapors, so maybe he can buy enough time to survive 2 hits from Progenitus.
It's possible.
Because he needs to hit with that Tombstalker 3 times.
True.
Was there a way for him to play the Tombstalker last turn? Or
I think he did play it last.
No, I'm sorry, the turn before. Like, did he immediately play the Tombstalker as soon as he could play it?
I don't know if he had it in his hand.
Okay.
And we didn't comment. So.
Okay. Oh, AJ has a sword, so that's
gonna be pretty brutal.
almost all the hope lost there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now he can survive 2 hits from Progenitus.
Yeah.
Nope, he can't. 11 and 11. So he cannot.
That's true.
He
That's
cannot
very
survive
true.
2 hits from Progenitus. I guess the Consuming Vapors does allow that, but it does not look very good for Chris here. I didn't have the chance to talk with AJ yet about like how that matchup worked, how his deck fared against Team America, but
It looks like it's doing pretty good.
yeah,
I
it
mean,
looks like it's all right against it.
there's the consuming vapors. So
No, I would not. I'd sacrifice the Dryad Arbor if I was AJ. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that just strictly better? Dryad Arbor does not have Exalted.
it's true. I mean, again, like you said, it was a 2-turn clock with.
Well, not anymore because he gains the life now.
Oh, that's true. That's
So,
true.
but I mean, like, just saying,
Yeah.
if you drew another Noble Hierarch, then it would be a 2-turn clock.
Right. But of course, that is going to rebound.
Yep.
So he will gain a little more life as well. And maybe he's just saving the Arbor. Maybe he wants to use the Arbor this turn.
Sure. Maybe.
Although,
And not to mention, like, the Arbor, yeah, I don't know. I think I would have sacked the Arbor, but like I said, AJ plays very tight. He's not someone who just been the wrong one for no reason. Maybe he was thinking about it.
sure.
He must have had a reason for it. AJ plays very tight Magic.
So there comes Sower of Temptation.
And that card is also in my deck.
It's very good. And that's the
Yeah.
game.
Wow.
AJ takes it 2-0.
Thank
All right.
you.
So I will be making my leave now.
We will see you on the other side of the camera.
Absolutely.
Congratulations again for